But normally, this is very important. There's Nelson Mora, great little invert, but let's finish this. GT, if it comes to a count back, i.e. the number of, here's Mike Stewart riding, great to see him. Out of there, Mike, come on. There. That's great to see Mike Stewart putting on a show. That's great barrel. Really stoked to see Mike Stewart showing the tube riding skill that he's got. But I'm trying to get to this GT story, Manny. Anyway, it goes to a count back. If you have a number of riders stuck on 10 points, it goes back to their single highest scoring waves. We'll dig into the records and try to find out what GT's single highest scoring waves so far in the competition was. But he wished he had one of these like Mike Stewart.
Well, Mike Stewart is creeping up high on the face of the wave as he comes out of that barrel, and was able to come out of that barrel nonetheless. And so he's going to be scored accordingly. So we're going to take a look at what the judges had to say about that. Oh.
Yeah, look, interesting to see that scores are still dropping for Mike Stewart's wave, but we've had a couple of waves drop while we were getting quite excited about everything else that was going on. Uri Valadao has dropped a 5.0 wave. Sergio Alonzo, he's got a 4.5. That's just the last heat coming back into the rocks.
Yep, Genesis Reyes making his way back in. Again, it's a shame that the waves weren't, catered to him. He is a big wave maniac. So Genesis Reyes, you're going to see videos and photos of this guy still charging Fronton when it's massive. He's only a handful of guys that do this. And look at this, out the back, up and riding, Nelson Mora.
Oh, Nelson Mora, one of the more respected locals here, and that's why. Let's see him right out of that. No.
Can he hold on to it? Can he kick in front of that whitewash? No, but man, he was just, all these riders, when they hit that big section, just, if we can slow it down just a little bit and try to get a measurement on how high he is from the top of the wave to the bottom of the wave.
That's 15 feet in the air, I'd say, Manny. What do you reckon?
Oh, man, he was actually a couple feet higher, and it was just amazing. Easily 15 feet.
Yeah, well, unfortunately didn't ride out of it, so the judges only probably give a 1.75, I think is the score that's dropped for that. But we have Mike Stewart's got a 5.75, so good to see that. He's in currently second position. I'm going to have a little break, Manny. Going to leave you with some guy by the name of David Winchester.
Oh,
I'll leave the other chat with him.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm stoked to have Dave Winchester, a.k.a. Winnie, come into the hot seat and talk us through this heat. Currently in the lead, Uri Valadao, the Brazilian, in the red jersey. In white, Mike Stewart in second place. Nelson Mora in third. Sergio Alonzo, the pocket rocket from Venezuela, in the yellow jersey. So, Winnie, get a little closer. Get situated, and you were out there earlier today. Give us your thoughts on the conditions as they are now.
Yeah, they look pretty similar to my heat. You just those wind kind of comes in and squalls, and then so one heat will be a bit windy, and the next one will be a bit lighter. So I was lucky enough to get a couple of lighter waves, and usually look for the second wave in the set because the reef will suck out and the face will be a bit cleaner.
Yeah, the heat prior to yours were really low scoring, and then you came out with a 7.0 right off the bat, and that was pretty much as what you mentioned. Some heats are you going to get waves, and some you're not. You're going to just be scrapping for 4 points, 3 points here and there. Guilherme Tamega making his way up the cliff and getting a photo with the fan.
Yeah,
so
it's a sad sight to see GT out of the race, but just leaves the 3 top dogs now. So.
We're not 100% sure that GT is knocked out. He's sitting on 10 points, and through history, we know that 10 points seems to be like that bubble. Now he's going to have to wait until the very last heat, like Diego Cabrera has been doing pretty much all year. But he's going to wait and see if he will make it. So it's not 100% over for GT. He'll wait and see. Mike Stewart taking a look.
Here goes Mike. He's in a good position so far in this contest. He's had 2 fourths, is it?
Yeah, he's bumming right now.
He just wants to show the crowd that he's still got it and get some big barrels, and hopefully we see some moves from him too.
The Intimidator, Amaury Laverne. Every time I see this guy stretch, I would not want to be in his heat, because if I was in his heat and I seen him getting all crazy like this, I would be pretty intimidated. What do you guys think?
Especially with that hair on that chin. Look at it, just like it looks like it's just stuck on, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Where'd he get that from?
It's that spray you can buy at the local grocery store. No, Amaury Laverne, one of the most intense competitors on the tour, and he's in the top seed for 2012's. Look at that. That just hurts looking at that.
Girls must want to get him in the bedroom.
Oh, for sure. Here's a look of the VIP area for the competitors, and give us your thoughts on the whole structure out there.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. There's like a little grandstand. It's like a little amphitheatre for bodyboarding. So the best wave in front of it, and the crowd goes wild when they see big airs like that air that Jake Stone did in that last heat. The crowd went up.
Yeah, I was up there for a break, and the crowd was absolutely cheering, yelling when guys were doing unreal moves, and it's a pretty cool sight to see. Out here currently is heat number 2 of round number 3. This is the last round of the leaderboard system, and this is it. We're coming down to the wire. Some competitors move on, top 16 move on, and the bottom 16, thanks for showing up and putting on a performance.
Yeah, jump on a flight back home. That's what I said to Mike. I said, what do you need before his last heat? And he goes, a plane home.
Yeah, he has
so we'll go get some barrels first. And he's like, yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, he has a family and kids back home that I'm sure he would love to get back to. So, Lisa, if you're watching, actually, I don't want to surprise you. Well, here we go. Sergio Alonzo up and riding.
It's pretty hard because those rights, they sort of bend away. So, I mean, it's touch and go. And a nice hat there, Manny. It's pretty...
Yeah, you got a nice hat, too.
Maybe I'll turn it around or something.
No, it's all good. Talk to us about Grand Flavor.
Yeah, as a company, just bodyboarders started, and we just love it. So we just want to clothes that there wasn't clothes out there that we wanted to wear that were bodyboarding companies. So we started it. And as we see Uri here, nice little spin. He's going to stall for a barrel there.
Nice. Is he going to make it out is the question.
That was
Look
nice
at that.
riding there.
So great riding from Uri Valadao. You can actually see him hit the brakes as he comes out of that first move and then stalls for the barrel. And let's take another look. Talk us through it.
So Uri, he did really well to ride that barrel. He came, as you could see, that red rashi was really high in the barrel on the way out. So he's definitely, his skills over the past few years barrel riding have really come along. And he usually goes really, really well in the small stuff. But I mean, he showed us at Chile and here that he can actually, he loves the big waves too. Sorry,
Mike Stewart, he's just out there. Mike Stewart is not advancing on to round number 4. We've talked about it after his last heat, but he's out there, you know, he's out there.
Yeah, so he's out there having fun, so he just wants that one, you know. He wants a 10-point ride, go out with a bang, flick off, and he's the man, you know.
Yep. So Uri Valadao right now in first place, and we know that he took the win in Portugal. That's where the waves came up in the early rounds, and look at that big air roll spin. He is the master of those, and he was on cloud 9 in Portugal. That was a very, very tough competition because of the conditions, but you know what? He's a competitor. He's a Brazilian competitor, and those guys are hard to beat.
Uri is amazing. I always say that it's like he's on a trampoline or something. Like that wave wasn't even big, and there's no way in the world I could do anything like that. He just trampolines this massive flip. He is pretty incredible. But as I said before, over the past few years, he's started stepping it up in the bigger waves, and it's good to see. He surfs really amazing. Like Chile, he always gives us a good show, a few big airs and big barrels. So yeah, it's great to see. Great to see. He's a good all-rounder, I reckon.
We've talked about the guys who charge big waves and then get into the competition scene, and which is a hard transition because you have to mentally you have to do something. But to go from the small wave competition scene into riding big waves and still competing, that's a whole different ball game as well.
Yeah, it'd definitely be as hard, I think. I mean, he's got the mind for it, and he always had it, and he was always winning all those small wave comps, but then he just starts, look, here he is. He's up and riding. He's going to look for something big off the end, but he just gets caught and has to pull through. That's unlucky.
I know you're hanging out with the guys over in the competitors area. Anybody getting hurt hitting the reef or anything happening out in that, like as far as injuries?
In my heat, Benny came in with a few cuts all over his hands and that. He's bleeding all over his new jumper, so
bummer.
I wasn't too stoked. But
is he going to be able to get a new jumper?
Yeah, I'm sure the boys at GF. Oh, actually, he's got I think, a new sample winter jacket, so better take that to the dry cleaners for until a few months, till they all come in. But yeah, Mitch yesterday. How's that little barrel?
Nice.
Mitch yesterday actually on that big invert that he didn't make it. It was a really heavy section in his heat, and he got cut up. He cut his back, his foot. I think his arm as well. So he hit everywhere on the reef, but nothing too bad.
So it is dangerous out there, and a lot of the riders, including yourself, are they thinking about that, or are they just going out there and hitting the lip and holding on?
Everyone's just going and hitting and holding on. You saw Jake's invert,
Yes.
and he wasn't worried about the reef there.
That was amazing. Check it out, Winnie. We got the winner of the last heat downstairs with Shaggy. Shaggy, where you at, brother?
Hey guys, I'm down here with Andrew Lester, the winner of round 3's first heat. Congratulations, Andy.
Yeah, thanks, Shaggy. I was pretty stoked. It was a bit nerve-wracking. I had a couple of really good riders, Jake Stone and Tomega, and the local guy, Hennesis. Yeah, so, you know, I had the work cut out for me, but just kind of went in my favour. I got the second wave of each set and kind of drew a bit of the water off the reef, and it was clean and got lucky.
Yeah, you got that good barrel, but let's talk about your air forward. That was lovely. Pointed your toes and everything.
Yeah, pointed the toes, got to make it look pretty. No, I was kind of going up, and I didn't really have anything that I wanted to do as I was going up to it, and just kind of held off a bit, so I just thought I'd do a spin. I didn't think I'd get that much air, but it's pretty windy, so the wind got under me a bit and held me up, so it was good.
Must be a strong wind, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks, mate. Appreciate that.
Well, congratulations, and let's see if you make the top 16 now. I think you have, though, hey?
Yeah, hopefully. Cheers. But yeah, fingers crossed. Thanks.
Back to you guys.
All right, how windy is it?
It's pretty windy out there. It's nice in here, but Shaggy, he's always got a joke for him, doesn't he?
Always. Well, Shaggy's doing a great job down there, and Andrew Lester doing a phenomenal job. So shout out to both of those guys currently in the water. Give us the lowdown.
Uri Valadao in red, he's in first on 11.5. Mike Stewart's in second with a 6.75. Nelson Mora, the local boy in blue, is on 5.75. And Sergio Alonzo from Venezuela has got a 5.5. So a couple of the guys have got a bit of work to do, but Mike's only needs a 5.76 to get to first. So Uri in the box seat right now.
How difficult is the wave selection out there? When you have the priority system, you have one peak. Here's, take a look, Mike Stewart. We'll get back to that.
Hopefully this bowl comes in on the right. A little spin under the pocket there, but it's not going to offer too much. It goes pretty fat on the shoulder there. So you sort of get you want a lot of wall on the wave when you take off. A little wedge with a lot of wall, especially when it's this windy, because otherwise the wave will just go fat.
Again, back to riding in at one, pretty much it's essentially one peak out there, and the priority system is in effect. How difficult is it to get that good wave?
It's hard to know. I like to try and keep busy in my heats. I find if you start getting good rhythm, start getting a few waves, you can keep building on it. And so if you sit around waiting, you can start playing in your mind, oh no, if I get a good one, am I going to blow it? Or if I don't get a good one, then 10 minutes have already gone. It's sort of, you got to try and go in between, I think, is your best strategy. That's what I find. So catch a few waves, but then not wait too long.
All right, check it out. We got a little lull in the action. We'll be back right after this.
Okay.
Again, welcome back, everybody. This is the IBA 2011 NMD Pride Stealth Fronton Pro, brought to you by Grand Flavor. My name is Manny Vargas with David Winchester here in the hot seat, giving you the live feed from the Isla Canarias on the outskirts of Galdar. Round number 3, heat number 2, out in the water. Mike Stewart in the white jersey, taking a look.
Mike taking off that little inside left, hoping that the bowl would come in, but on those lefts, they wrap so hard, and Sergio Alonzo at the back is looking for something on this right, but can only manage a spin. And see those rights, they can bend away. So yeah, as we said before, you have to choose your waves really carefully, or they just go fat.
Explain to some of the people viewing right now, what do you mean by fat? Because I mean, bodyboard talk, we understand it, but there are some people who are watching who probably don't bodyboard. A fat wave, a hollow wave. Explain what we got out here at El Fronton.
Well, when you're surfing Fronton, you're looking for a really, really hollow wave, so one that sucks out really hard and barrels heavy. But if you choose those ones that come in from the other side, too much wedge on them, they'll just push across and just sort of the wave goes full, and so you're just on a fat face, so there's no actual lip there to do any moves except for maybe spins. So, and as we know, they don't score too well, so you want to be in the air or in the barrel.
And when it goes fat, it's going into deeper water, so there's not much going on there. Look at Mike Stewart, big invert right there. Mike Stewart's not going out in vain. He's going to actually look for that 5.76 that he needs for a first place spot, and that might have been it. Very clean invert, great wave right there for Mike Stewart.
Oh, that was incredible, wasn't it? That was like vintage Mike. That was back probably when he was 30.
That's right, and you know what? He's, what is he, like almost 50, and he's out here doing that. I hope in 10 years, in 9 years, whatever, I can still be able to do something like that. But big shout out, Mike Stewart. Look at that, 6.5 coming in for Mike Stewart. Let's take another look. Talk us through it.
He started off, so he had a really good wedge with a long wall, and he hit that so clean,
Look at that.
just flying high. That was really stylish and really smooth as well. Oh, I'm stoked, Mike. That was amazing.
Yes, he is by far one of the most smoothest riders in the world on a bodyboard. And you know what? He's been around from day number one, and I don't think he's going anywhere. In fact, I asked him a question. I like throwing this out there because this is how crazy this guy is. I'll tell you in a second. But Blue, Nelson Mora coming around the section, pulls a little roll, and I don't know what he was doing there. Was he claiming?
No, I think he was just having a bit of fun there.
Oh.
He was a bit frustrated at the wave, just having a bit of fun. So a little funny pull-off. Nelson's just amazing out at this wave, one of the best guys out here. And, I mean, you saw that huge invert he went for before, and that's what he's all about, those huge moves. So he's sort of laughing about that roll and not really taking it too seriously.
Well, it's a shame because a lot of the top Canary Island rider guys are slowly falling off of the competition. And it's a shame because these guys in big fronton throw it down. And unfortunately, the conditions aren't catering to their style of riding, which is just massive hell drops. And it's unfortunate, but you know what? You're going to see him in videos. You're going to see him in photos. You're going to see him in magazines. So make sure you remember these names. Nelson Mora, for sure, one of those guys. Genesis Reyes, for sure, one of those guys as well. 11 minutes remaining in this heat.
This heat's still pretty wide open. Uri only needs a 5.75 to leapfrog Mike into first, and Nelson, he's only got a 4 and a 3.25, so he needs a 7.5 to go to second, and 8.25 to go to first. He's sort of on the back foot. And Sergio Alonzo, he's got one all right score. He's got a 4.5, but he still needs a 7 to go to second. So, I mean, these guys have definitely got their work cut out, but there's 10 minutes left, and hopefully there's a few sets coming in for the boys. Looks like someone's paddling here. Yuri having a little sniff at this one.
All right, let's take a look. It looks like, yes, Uri Valadao coming up around this big section. What's he going to do? Hold on to his rail. A little bumpy right there, but goes for a big roll on the inside. And can he hold on? He kicks and pushes in front of the turbulent whitewash and pulls it off. Uri Valadao. How hard is it to get out in front of that whitewash? Tell me in a second. Up and riding, Nelson Mora. Oh, my! Big backflip, and he lands on top of the wave and cannot pull it around. Oh, man.
So that's why Nelson's so exciting out here. He goes for these big moves. If he was making them, he'd be winning this heat.
For
definitely.
sure.
So hopefully he pulls one out and can get out a third.
Unbelievable. That was insane. I mean, if he would have pulled that off, definitely higher scoring wave than what he's going to get right now. Because it was an incomplete move. I'll be shocked if he gets something higher than a 2. But if he pulls it off, it's easy in the 6-point range. And Uri Valadao also caught a wave. And he is looking for a 5.75. Let's take another look right here at Nelson. Talk us through it.
He takes off on that wedgie left, and he's just waiting for that bowl to come in. And then he releases there and just starts bottom turning up. And he hits it so clean, just straight into a backflip. Check out that style. It's amazing, isn't it?
Unreal. He was easily about 10 feet above the water.
Above on top.
Yeah, unreal. Woo. So you're coming up in heat number 6 against Eder Luciano, Mitch Rollins, and Jason Finlay.
Ooh.
That's going to be exciting.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I knew I had a hard one, but I didn't know that hard. But I think Finlay's safe. I think Mitch needs a result in this next one, and I'm not too sure. I think he's been going pretty good. He's been surfing really well out here, so I mean, this is going to be a tough one. So you see Novi there getting ready for the next heat with the boys, but unfortunately he's in dead bottom, 32 position, 32nd position, but he's up against Mora, the current world champion red. Gastro from Portugal is in yellow, and Hugo is also from Portugal in blue. So this should be another cracker.
All right, Novi unfortunately won't advance on to round number 4, but at least he has his chin up. I mean, he's having a good time now. Michael Novi, he came back from an injury, and to be where he is right now, absolutely amazing.
Oh, it's incredible, isn't it? He was out of the water for so long and worked really hard back in rehab. Here we go, Nelson up. He's waiting for this bowl to come in. It's just tough, isn't it? You just want those bowls, and sometimes they come in, sometimes they don't. See Sergio pulling off because there was not enough wall on that one. It's really deceiving out there too with all those wind chops. You think you're going to get a good one, and you don't. I know in my last heat, Nelson, he had priority, and he looked at this one and let it go and gave it to me, and it was I think it was my best wave of the heat. So, I mean, it is tough, and he's a local guy, so he knows. So, it is hard.
So a lot of luck right now going on out in the water.
Luck, but you also make your own luck, and you have to be in it to win it, don't you? You have to go the waves. So here goes Novi walking down the track. So hopefully Novi can pull out something big. We know he's got it in him, so I'd be pretty excited to see. Hopefully Novi, I know I think he's currently 16th on the World Tour, so he needed a result here. So it's going to be pretty tight. I think there's a couple of guys like Diego Cabrera. He goes Uri up. He's going to go straight into something big here, hopefully. Nah, see, just crumbling a bit. I think Diego could leapfrog him if he gets a good result. I know Mike could, but he's out of the competition, so I guess that's good for Novi. But Ada Luciano is in 15th, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, there are a few guys that can wreck Novi's dream, but we won't know that till this contest is over.
Well, this guy right here, Amaury Laverne, right now, he's good. He's still. We'll see him next year on the 2012 tour as a seated rider. And again, one of the most intense competitors I see on video all the time. So he's still in there. He's coming up next against Novi. And in yellow, Gastão Intrudo from Portugal and fellow Portuguese rider Hugo Pinheiro. And again, stacked heat. Gastão won his last heat, and he's feeling good finally. I hear it all the time. A lot of these guys are just, they rip. But sometimes they just fall apart in competition, either from pressure or they're just not getting the right waves, and it's a shame.
Yeah, it is. You have to be really on your game. Like the World Tour these days is not like it's way harder than it was 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. So there's so many good young guys that have got nothing to lose and just go for it. So if you're not on your game, then you're just going to fall behind. So it's really tough.
So what do you do to prepare mentally and physically for, let's say, this event?
Well, this event was funny. I hadn't really ridden a bodyboard since Puerto Rico. The waves weren't that good at home, and so I rode a surfboard every day, just kind of
just to get in the water.
Just get in the water. It was pretty small. The summer had come early, really had hit early on the east coast. So I mean, you got to get in the water. That's what you want to do. And a lot of swimming is good. So keep your arms kind of strong
and mentally.
Mentally, I kind of feel pretty good coming into this. I can't win the tour. I can't drop off the 16. So mentally, I knew I'm just going to go out there and surf, and I just want to go big, you know. I want to do some big airs, get some big pits, and have fun.
Well, you're looking good to go into round number 4. So you're coming up against some big heavy hitters. Look at this, outside, out the back, in the blue jersey. Whoa, how was that stall around that section to be able to go up and do a roll on the inside? Great wave riding right there from Nelson Mora. Mike Stewart up and riding.
Hopefully he's going to get another big invert out of this. Oh, heavy landing.
Unreal. Mike Stewart still pulling it off. Great wave riding right there from Stewart. Unbelievable.
His bones aren't too brittle.
No. Well, you know what? He has a beautiful wife who's a nutritionist and who's making sure he's eating the proper food out the back. Sergio Alonzo.
Sergio's going to look for something big out here. And he does a big invert. Whoa.
How tweaked was that? His board just almost looked like he was going to lose his board.
Yeah, that's his stock standard pool chair for the boys. But Uri straight in the barrel and a big roll out. Sorry for that cheap shot on Mike before, you know. You know he's strong. I was just kidding.
Oh, look at the paddle battle going on right now. Sergio Alonzo and Uri Valadao. Priority system is in effect, so the first person to get out to the lineup will have priority over the other person. And it's intense. It doesn't end at the wave. There's a lot of strategy. Let's talk about this wave right here.
Nelson struggling to get around that. He just got there and cleanly executes a nice roll there. So, but I mean, I don't think it's really going to be that high a scorer for Nelson. He needs to do something big like Mike. He goes up and hits this. Look how heavy this landing is. Bang. Ooh, nearly buckled it, but he held on.
Yeah. Clean landing, and he holds on. Comes around the section. Mike Stewart. Beautiful wave right there. Nice. Another big invert for Stewart, and another high-scoring wave, a 6.6 for Stewart. Holding steady in first place, and Sergio Alonzo.
This looks like probably one of the best waves of the heat, actually. It had a really, really clean section, and the face was so clean on it. He needs a pretty big score to get there, though. He needs a 7.5 to get to second, a 7.85, so he was kind of under the lip a little bit, though.
And this is, Uri Valadao sneaking under the pocket and gets a nice quick barrel ride and comes out with a big roll. And that was a solid ride right there for Uri, a 6.25.
That was a crazy little exchange there, because that must have been, that was 3 waves in a row. The set must have all just sort of banked up together, and they all 3 of them got a really good wave. So, I mean, Mike getting the better of the exchange, getting a 6.6, and Mike's showing us all, he's busting out these moves. He can get barreled as well. We all know that, but to bust out these big inverts and winning this heat is great to see.
That first invert from Stewart was amazing, and we're going to see more of that, most likely in the highlight clips, as we won't see him in round number 4. But here he is, Mike Stewart. He's not going to go out in vain, leading this heat in first place with a 13.1. Uri Valadao in red on his heels needs a 6.6. Sergio Alonzo in third needs a 7.85 for that first place spot, and Nelson Mora needs a 9.1 for that first place spot. Woo! So, you know what? Nelson Mora, tell us about this guy.
Oh, he's probably got one of the biggest lefts out here ever ridden, and it is just amazing. You'll see it at the end of this slideshow. He gets this massive left and just free falls into it. It's like 2 stories high, maybe 3 stories high, and just falls in and comes out. And
he made it.
He makes it. It's just pretty amazing.
Unbelievable. So as you saw on the screen, this is Ruben, photographer. Look at that shot.
Beautiful
this place is amazing. It's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, we're just on one side of the island, one of 7 islands here in the Canary Island change, and there's 7 islands with a look at
Nelson's massive wave. Are you kidding me?
He paddled into that.
Paddles in.
Oh my! You know what? That photo is taken from the video that we used for the highlight reel, where that guy is dropping in on that massive wave, and here he is right here.
Nelson charging into that big pit. Can he make it? Look how much he loves the big stuff. Look at it.
Who would put? Again, there's under his body is look at this big Sergio Alonzo.
Oh, that was a big section. If he makes this, it's a high-scoring wave. Well, that was huge.
Oh my, Sergio Alonzo.
Free fall.
That was a huge free fall.
He took a leaf out of Nelson's book on that and just went huge. Uri as well, just off the back on that one. Gosh, we got some action, don't we, Manny?
Woo! I'm sweating over here, man. It's going to be a sweat box over here in the commentators area. Jeez, that was insane wave exchange right there. Uri Valadao, Sergio Alonzo, and Nelson Mora. Nelson pulling into a closeout on a shallow reef. This guy is crazy.
Yeah, we saw that huge photo of him, and he doesn't disappoint, does he? He just paddles into the biggest one that comes through late and doesn't come out. But then we saw Sergio on probably the best scoring wave of the whole heat. There was a massive bowl, and he went up and did a big invert, free fell top to bottom. There's Nelson. He paddled into that, but he was just too deep. It was a heavy section, and it just didn't really open enough for him to thread the needle, so they say.
Agujero. All right, so yeah, Nelson Mora pulling into pretty much what was a closeout on a reef and didn't get anywhere. But look at this. Slow it down, please.
Sergio gets 7.85 for this huge free fall, and he kind of lands back in the pocket. And I think he did really well to land that and not get lipped. So he's catapulted to first with a 7.85. So
wow, amazing. Sergio Alonzo in the last minute taking that first place spot away from Mike Stewart.
We'll have to check the leaderboard what Sergio was, but first he's really going to help his cause to go the top 16 after this event.
All right, I think we can pull up the leaderboard here. If it's updated, we will see. But yes, Sergio Alonzo taking that heat. Mike Stewart in second, Uri Valadao in third, and Nelson Mora pulling into a crazy closeout right there, Nelson Mora. So here we go. The third round scores are starting to come down on the leaderboard. And let's take a look right here. As you can see, if they have a 0 in their third round block, it means they have yet to compete in their last third round heat. So Ryan Hardy and Jeff Hubbard, Dave Winchester, you guys are still holding steady for that last heat, but you are looking good with those 12 points. Now, Uri Valadao has a total of 12 points. He's looking pretty good. Andrew Lester, very stoked to get that win in his last heat.
Yeah, he'll be fine getting in on 11 points. As we saw Sergio leapfrog Mike Stewart in that last 20 seconds, and now he really need a first. So he's on 10 points now after 3 rounds. I think he'd be safe, but you can never be guaranteed.